welcome to another edition of
Die Rollin.
Tonight we're here to talk to you, or today, depending on what time you're watching this video, we're here to talk to you about the game Brook City.
Brook City. It looks an interesting game. It looks like a really bad 1980s cop movie.
Yeah, well that's exactly what they're trying to go for here. They're trying to get that kind of thematic burst of a kind of late 80s, early 90s action cop drama where you've got like your Beverly Hills Cop.
So we're trying to drive away from the police and...
No. We are the police.
What?
We the police.
What?
5-0.
I don't want to...
That's who we are. We are the good guys in this. So I can't think of any board games I have played that you're actually the police.
One. Western Legends.
Well, technically you are. You can be on the side of the law in that, but it's more cowboy theme. I'm talking about more like
proper cops and robbers.
Proper cop and robbers. Yeah. So this game is trying to emulate that, and it was on Kickstarter. It's a game by Blacklist Games. The artwork is great, especially as they try to kind of capture the likeness of several well-known kind of actors, which you might be able to look at the cards and go, oh, I know who that guy is. Or who he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But
yeah, we're going to get this to the table and see how thematic this game is. And see if this ticks our boxes, so to speak. So, we have just played Brook City by Blacklist Games.
Cool. So the aim of the game was very simple, was to catch the bad guys, and you did that by...
solving a case,
traversing your way around a city grid in your cop car, and chasing down bad guys, picking up clues, and shooting them down with no... Just random, which was very 1980s. That's a bad guy. I'm not going to interview him. I'm not going to find out if he's guilty. I'm just going to shoot him down.
Well, to be fair, my character was more about, I was playing Mel Gibson kind of role, and mine was more about a loose cop maverick, and I was doing a lot more aggressive cards, whereas you were doing all the sweet talking as Will Smith, right? We're a good kind of double team.
It was good cop, mediocre cop.
Not mediocre, mad cop.
Bad cop.
Mad bad cop.
Okay. Anyway, was it a fun game? Yeah, it was. It was a really enjoyable game. It was very immersive, I have to say. Normally when we're filming for these things, we don't put music on in the background because obviously if you're filming and copyright. So I apologise, but you had a time lapse of what we watched because we wanted to put some theme music on. It really threw us into the game.
Yeah, I think the thing is with this game is like when I play Western Legends, which is a similar kind of... There's more to do in Western Legends, but it's a similar kind of sandbox kind of game. I sometimes put music on in the background, but it doesn't need it Western Legends because it's quite thematic. This game, the board is quite sparse to begin with. There's not much going on the board. Yeah. And I think like if you can just put on some music in the background, some like cop theme tunes and stuff, it really does add to that immersion. When I played this on my own with the kind of Will Smith character, Eddie Murphy kind of character, putting Beverly Hills Cop on was like the Axel Foley theme tune. Really added to the whole sense of fun and enjoyment.
Yeah, absolutely. The couple of negative points for me about the game. While we played the basic starter, there aren't that many different cases and interactions, and I think that's probably because they want to give the ability to offer some expansions for you. The only trouble I have with that is with a lot of crime games, even on a console and an Xbox, like once you solve them, it kind of loses that, oh yeah, we're going after this bad guy, because you kind of know, oh, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And even though you're just shuffling cards into a pack, I think the uniqueness about this game is that you're trying to solve a crime, and I think once you solve the crime,
once you've busted that syndicate member, you busted the syndicate member. Now, there isn't really with the game any instructions as to say what you should start out with, because you've got, I think, about 6 different cop characters in this. There's 3 different criminals and 3 different cases you can do. But Board Game Geek, there was a really good forum on there, a really good post about where to begin with this, like which ones are the starter cards. And we were playing with 2 of the starter cops, which are basically Will Smith and Mel Gibson. So it made it easier for us, I think. It was a lot easier to traverse around the board. I think we were playing this game mostly correct.
I think there were some, because they had tactics and abilities, and I think we probably could have only used 1 tactic, and the abilities were passive. But to be fair, I didn't look at the rule book, and actually it was enjoyable not looking at the rule book because it was really self-intuitive after a couple
it's not
of
too
rounds.
bad, really, is it? So negative for me, like I said earlier, I think the board is quite sparse, and I agree with you on the sense that unless you are going to be sinking money in this to get expansions, the replayability of this isn't going to be massive. Like, I think it's a really fun game to play, but once you've done those few kind of cases, then that's pretty much it, unless you want to spend more money on getting more cases, which they are bringing more out. I would say, however, it's very rare that I will get out a game more than, twice a month or something. So I think with this particular game, I could probably play it with different groups of people, but you wouldn't want to play it with the same group of people.
Yeah, and I think you're unique in this because you do own a ridiculous amount of board games. Whereas my board game collection is a lot less vast. So for me, it would be a unique game in my collection and one I would probably enjoy playing. But I'm not sure that I would really go out my way to buy expansions for it, and I think that says a little something about the game. In terms of gameplay, it is rolling a dice. It is a little bit luck based. I got some very good dice rolls. Did really well. On one turn though, I didn't get the dice rolls.
Well, on some turns you didn't have the cards to play as well, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. Talking about the cards, a positive for me is the artwork on these cards are really evocative of the theme they're trying to go for. The artwork is beautiful, and you know who these kind of people are supposed to be. I mean, they're not Will Smith, but it looks very similar to Will Smith and Mel Gibson. But yeah, some of the artwork on this is superb.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that actually the models and the characters and the cars and all of those bits in the game,
all those components
are top notch, but I feel they've taken a really great theme, come up with a really great base game, but it feels a bit superficial, not enough depth in it for me.
I feel like there just needs to be something more to this, right?
Yeah, I think so, and I'd love to see. I think this is a sort of game that would do really well as a legacy game. To have that hidden interaction with it as you progress through.
Or even like a campaign or something, right?
Yeah, I think so, and maybe that's in the running. But it for me it's great to bring to the table. Again, it's one you could probably play with sort of ages 10 upwards.
Yeah, I reckon so. I think some people would get a lot of replayability out of this, but I think from my perspective, it's good fun. I'll play this with people, but I don't think it's.
And I think money wise, it's worth what I think it's like a £50-60 game, and I think it's well worth it. It has that. I think if it was a £90-100 game, I'd probably be very disappointed.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely worth. And I'm not sure what it retails at, but
I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, but enjoyable, fun, nice pace to it. Yeah. Wasn't bored really at any point.
I think, although the board for me isn't the most, I don't know, it doesn't really grab me, the board. When I first look at it, I think, it looks alright. But one thing that is really good in this game, you spawn these kind of criminals around the city, and they have the grid references on there, which is great, because otherwise, bless you. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, I've got to put this in Hawk's Pub. where is this? So you've got the grid reference. You can
and
write
it,
it.
and it's the sizing, and I think the board is either too small for the components, or the components are too big for the board.
Okay.
Again, do you know what I am pleased about though is they haven't gone for a modular system where you can change it up and move it around. It actually works really quite nicely in the way it's put together.
Did it feel like you were playing a 90s, 80s kind of cop action movie?
Yeah, I think so, and I do disagree with you because I really like the board. It's one of the big standout elements for me. I think it's a good looking board. One of the things that did great on me is the clue tokens. If they're supposed to go with the component, then they should be easily attachable.
It all depends on what. I mean, we played like this particular case, and you have to put these clue tokens on these vehicles, and the vehicles move around the board. However, you just have to balance them on the actual kind of figure, which is a bit.
It took away from it, I think.
Yeah,
so. But do you know what? Overall, enjoyed it. Great game.
Components are lovely. These kind of hunch tokens have a nice feel to them. The artwork's great. The miniatures are good. Overall, it's got all the nice components. I think personally, I'd recommend this game to you if you want a kind of cop themed kind of miniatures game that isn't too difficult, but only really if you are willing to kind of put money in this to get those extra expansions. If you're happy about getting expansions, do it. I don't think the base game itself would get a lot of replayability.
I don't. But and when we say that, we're probably talking 10 or 12 plays before you probably
which to some people that's like a lot of plays.
Yeah. So, but for other people, I've got games in my collection that I think are lifelong games. I've got a few that I know have got a limited lifespan on them. So, and I get that. So, one of the things we do on this channel is we pick a component from the game, which we use to review. It has, in terms of the dice itself, it has
it's got a bullet hole, an explosion,
a shield,
and a shield and a bullet hole.
Yeah, and I think the double explosion is like the highest.
Yeah. The
shield being the lowest, and like the double bullet thing down at the bottom, I think that works.
Which one? Sorry, which one?
It's this.
So
this one is sort of in the middle.
That one. This one.
This one.
Oh, that's the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Well, I always go first, and then
So mine is kind of like a dice that is just on its side here because it depends on what you want. I would give this a shield and a bullet, so it's kind of like medium. And the reason I give that is for what I said earlier, which is basically this game is a really fun game to play. It's very thematic, which is what I always go for in games. But I feel like this will come out a few times, probably won't get any more play until I get expansion packs. So I think if this was one which had a bit more content in the cases, then I'd probably be a bit higher. But for me, it's kind of, there's not as much content in here as I'd possibly like to have in here. There's not as much replayability in there. But yeah, if you're after expansions, like I like to kind of get an expansion of these kind of games, that I'd give that a bit higher. So I'm kind of in the middle on this, but it's really fun.
I'm going to go with a slightly above average sort of bullet hole.
Okay.
I like the board, I like the theming, I like the concept. I'd like to see more games similar to this. I feel what you're saying in terms of replayability. I think for me, I'd quite like a copy of it on my shelf just to get out and play with various different people. But I agree with you; it's got so much replayability.
Yeah. But it's very unique in the sense that I don't know any other games like this that do this theme this well.
Yeah, and the artwork's awesome. So that was Brook City, reviewed by us at Die Rollin. We are on various social media channels, including
Facebook,
YouTube,
Instagram.
If you want to catch up with what's going on in this channel at YouTube, make sure that you click the subscribe button, and if you want those notifications, please ring that bell.